Hello, and welcome to this webinar for Convert It, presented by E-Spec. Who is E-Spec? We are digital image workflow specialists focused on automating the movement of digital images throughout the enterprise. E-Spec was founded in 2001 and is an Adobe developer and partner. So what is one of the biggest problems designers face today? Basically, everybody wants a piece. Designers are constantly fielding requests for sharing copies or parts of their creations. We end up creating a supply and demand ecosystem with regards to creative content. On the supply side, we have content creators like designers, technical designers, freelance artists, and photographers. On the demand side, we have our content consumers. These consumers can be departments, partners, or business systems like digital asset management, sales and marketing, product lifecycle management or PLM, enterprise resource planning, and most importantly, e-commerce. So these consumers can often be very demanding. They need copies of the design in a standard file format like JPEG or PNG, so they don't need Illustrator to view the image. They want the design divided into individual files by color or fabrication, for example, and they want the rasterized image with maybe a transparent background, in other words, PNG files, so that they can do things like overlays. And finally, and most importantly, they want it now. Immediate updates as they occur. So meeting these demands can be often a costly and time-consuming process for the designers. In a typical Illustrator file, we have a collection of content that is not always organized for quick and easy export. A designer will often have to copy and paste each item into a new document and export those items one at a time as either JPEG, PNG, or other file format, or sometimes both. Once the images are exported, the designer spends even more time logging into these business systems or email or FTP and uploading these images one at a time. When the change is made, the designer is expected to remember who got a copy of what and supply the updated version to them. What a mess, right? Well, now we have a solution with Convert It for Adobe Illustrator. Convert It is an automated file rasterizer with enhanced workflow features. So what does Convert It do? It exports rasterized copies of the AI files automatically on save. Creates JPEGs, PNG, or PSD file formats, or any combination thereof, simultaneously. It can automatically create individual output files for each layer or artboard. And it can even add a watermark to the exported files, leaving the original AI file intact. Let's take a quick look at Convert It in action. Here we have an empty output location where we plan to save our designs. On my desktop, I have this design for a hat that I've been working on. Notice I've split the hat file by layer and by artboard, giving a specific name to each of these items. So I have the front and back views of the hat separated by a black and the blue colors. Now if we look at our configuration for Convert It, we can see that we've already predefined that when I save to this Save Product location, I want to create a JPEG. I'm also creating a PNG and a PSD file. If we look at our JPEG options, I've configured this to save the JPEGs to an alternate location. Otherwise, the JPEGs would just go into the same location where we save the AI file. I've indicated here what the quality of these JPEGs I want to create, and I've indicated over here that I want them created by artboard. Under the PNG format, you can see we're also sending the PNGs to an alternate location. We've indicated here that we want a transparent background, and in this case we're using the watermark. The watermark is just simply a swatch file that we've created that we've labeled as watermark within our configuration files. I've also indicated here that we want the PNGs created by layer, and that we want the layers only. We don't want one giant PNG of the whole image. And finally, in our PSD file format, again, we're sending it to an even different output location. We've indicated here that we want it to preserve the layers, which can come in handy when we're doing screen prints operations using the PSD file as the source. But in this case, I'm not separating. I do want the whole file as a PSD. So once this is configured, now I don't have to go back and reset up this again. Just from this moment forward, once it's configured, anytime I save to that location, it's going to use those rules. So let's see what happens when we do this. I'm going to do a save as, and I'm going to select that save product location, and I'm going to save my sparked hat. Once the save is complete, notice in that location what we were looking at earlier, we now have our sparked.ai file is in our save product location, but then we also have in those alternate locations the JPEGs, and as you can see this is by artboard. Notice it takes the name of that we've given to the artboard and appends it to the end of the file name. So our file name is sparked _ colorways, sparked details, sparked specs. In our PNG, we've created the PNG files by layer, and it took the layer name and appended that to the end of the file name. So I have a different PNG file for each layer. Also notice it put that watermark on there that we asked for. And that watermark is applied only to the output files, and therefore it leaves my AI file intact. And then finally we have our PSD file, which as you can see is one giant Photoshop file of the whole image. So let me show you another example where we have a parts guide here. This is a document that is intended to be used to create a pamphlet that's going to go inside the product box for the end user, the customer, if you will, to use for instructions on how to install this product. Now, in my case, I also want to be able to provide each of these steps as individual images to my website, so that when the user logs in to our support website, they can see maybe via a mobile device each individual step one at a time in a smaller screen format that's easy to digest. So in this case, I've pre-configured my location here, this product guide, this save guide folder, to create a PNG for each layer. And it's going to name them by my layer names. So as we see, I have 1, 2, just the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we are, looking at our output location. There's each of those steps, one at a time. There's our step 1, step 2, step 3. Now if I go back and make a change, these images will automatically be updated the minute I save that AI file, and my web designer knows that he's going to get these images, updated and current images, the moment they're changed. He doesn't have to worry about waiting around or asking, hey, did you change that file? So what do we do now? now that we have all these images that we've created, how do we organize them? Well, you can expand your workflow with additional integrated E-Spec tools. The first of which is what we call Tagit. Tagit is a metadata collection tool that takes the images that it's generating out of Convert and is embedding custom metadata into the files. It creates what we call the self-aware document by embedding the image on creation with identification content. Wherever that image goes, it takes the identity along with it. The file knows what it is and where it's been. We can optionally use that metadata to build a filing structure on the output location based on the values that we've entered. Let me show you how this works. So here I have my sparked image, but this time I'm going to save it to a folder where I've enabled my Tagit. Now when I do this, I'm going to get prompted with a dialog that has field definitions that I've defined for my organization. This is entirely customizable to your environment, and you can pick whatever field definitions you want. In this case, I have anything from drop-down lists, dependent drop-down lists. So if I select, this is an accessory, notice it changes my product type to say hats and shoes rather than if it was tops. I have my choices of knits, wovens, or dresses. And I can even specify that these are required fields, which means I can't proceed. I can't even save this image until I fill in a value. So I'm going to give it a style number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Description, my hat, sparked. I can even have date fields, checkboxes, multi-line text boxes, any field definitions that I deem necessary for my business rules. And all this data gets added to the file. Now I've already pre-designated that some of these fields are indicated for output filing. And what that does is when I've enabled the output filing option within my Convert configuration here, notice in the Tagit section here, I've enabled my Tagit option and I've enabled output filing. So what that's going to do is once I save that image, not only did it create the JPEGs, but as we see here, the choices that I made for those fields, E-Spec, accessories, fall 2013, and it put the images in that subfolder location. So it built kind of an organized filing tree for me based on the metadata that I added. For more information on Tagit, be on the lookout for future webinars regarding the Tagit process and how that metadata can be used for searching, for integrating with other business systems, a variety of methods and operations that you can do with that metadata. You like a demo, a more in-depth demo of Tagit, please contact E-Spec or visit our website for more information. Another option that you have to enhance your workflow is with our Routit plugin. Routit is an automated file upload tool. So what does Routit do exactly? It automatically sends these rasterized images and the metadata to a waiting business system, like a PLM or digital asset management. We contact a waiting web service that will inject the files and read that metadata and use it to populate the database. It can trigger the creation of a PLM style based on the metadata provided. It can even populate style property fields or image property fields within the PLM system or the DAM system using that metadata. For more information on Routit, again, we're going to be doing future webinars, so keep an eye out for upcoming webinars with that. If you'd like a direct demo, feel free to contact E-Spec directly and we can arrange that. You can also visit our website for more detailed information. So how do I get converted? Well, trial licenses are available for download upon request. Visit our website in the Contact Us form, and you can request a trial copy for a 15-day evaluation period. It's available for both CS6 and CC on Mac or Windows. I want to thank you for participating in this webinar. Feel free to contact us at sales@e-spec.net for more information. Visit our website, e-spec.net, and you can follow us on LinkedIn or Facebook to receive regular updates on new products and new features. Thank you again for attending, and I hope you found this information useful.